Oi boys, welcome to the final prediction video of the 2020 State of Origin, and today we've got a doozy of a Game 3, a decider here in Queensland, and without any further ado, let's not waste any time and just run through the lineups, starting with the New South Wales Blues. Alright, so I'll start off by saying there are no changes. So starting with the back five, we've got James Tedesco, Dan Tupou, Clint Gutherson, Jack Whiten, and Josh Adokar. And the halves, they have Cody Walker and Nathan Cleary. And with the forwards, starting with the front row, they've got Daniel Saifidi, Damien Cook, and Payne Haas. Second row, Angus Crichton, Tyson Frizzell, and at lock, Jake Trebojevic. And finally, that bench, that deadly bench of theirs, they've got Dale Finucane, Junior Paulo, Nathan Brown, and Isaiah Yeo. Alright, so there's not much to say about the Blues. Last week was one of those games where nothing could go wrong for them. The slight changes they made within their forward pack and their bench was perfect changes. Payne Haas starting, Junior Paulo coming off the bench was way more effective. I mean, I could go through the whole 1 to 17 and just talk about what they did right or how well they played, but in my opinion it all starts with the forward pack, and like I said last week, they out-muscled and out-enthused the Queenslanders early on. So before we talk about the actual game, let's go through Queensland's lineup, as there are quite a few changes. Now, I'm still unsure if this is the final 1 to 17 once kickoff comes around, but this is what's on NRL.com. Starting with the back five, we got Corey Allen, Edric Lee, Branko Lee, Dane Gagai, and Valentine Holmes back on the wing. I did talk a little bit about the possible changes heading into Game 3, and surprisingly, that's pretty much taken place. And those changes were Corey Allen to fullback, Valentine Holmes back on the wing, and Branko Lee into the centres. So we've got two new wingers. In my opinion, Valentine Holmes plays much better on the wing. There were moments in last week's game where Valentine Holmes should have been in support of a few plays, but he just wasn't around. But yeah, it's good to see him back on the wing. Also, Edric Lee's a late inclusion. I think, what's his face? Xavier Coates got injured, so Edric Lee will be on the wing. Man, that edge, you just know they'll be under a lot of pressure, probably where most of the traffic will head to, as both the Lees are a new combination, and yeah man, it's going to be a tough one. In the halves, we've got Cameron Munster and Daly Cherry Evans, the skipper, and the forward pack, the front row, Christian Welsh is back, Jake Friend and Josh Papali'i. In the second row, we got Felice Galfusi, and Kurt Capewell has been moved to the back row, where I'm pretty sure he'll be way more comfortable. And at lock, we got Tino Fa'asua Maleaui. Moving on to the interchange, and I'm pretty stoked with these changes. We've got Jaden Sewer, Harry Grant to make his debut, Lindsay Collins, and Jai Arrow. Now, I was saying last week that I felt that the Queensland bench was way weaker than New South Wales, and come game day, they had little to no impact. I love that Christian Welsh is back. He's a solid player who'll help tighten up the middle. But yeah, it's the bench. I like that he moved Jaden Sewer to the bench. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure if this is the final team. For all we know, he could change it right before kickoff. But yeah, let's dive deeper into this bench. Last week, there was no potency, no impact, like the bench was, I don't know how to explain it. It was like a complacent performance, much like Philip Sami on the wing, in my opinion. But yeah, the look of the bench this week, they've got like legitimate momentum shifting kind of players in Jaden Sewer and Harry Grant. Sewer, he did play good last week, but he's not, let's just say it's kind of like Junior Paulo in Game 1 compared to Game 2. Yes, Sewer can play the 80, but he's more, he'll be more potent and more effective coming off the bench, you know? So yeah, I actually rate that change. Also, the inclusion of Harry Grant, the ultimate wild card. I'm interested to see how they're going to cycle through their bench, because last week, it was a bit awkward. So where do I think the game will be won? Much like every other game of rugby league, and the generic answer is the forward pack, the middle. But to be more specific about it, I'd say whoever can assert their dominance within the first 15 minutes, and I reckon a lot of it has to do with whoever's kicking off. Ideally, you'd want to be the team kicking off first, so you can just rush down, hammer the opposition, try and keep them within their own half. That was kind of the case for last week's game. I mean, we are talking ideal here. I mean, for all we know, they could drop the ball on the kickoff like New South Wales did in Game 1. Plenty of anomalies could take place. So who do I think will win? I mean, we all know, as a Queenslander, I will be going with the Maroons, and I'll say they'll barely scrape by. You want to talk about momentum shifters? An obvious one that I haven't mentioned, Suncorp Stadium, a packed house, around 48,000 people screaming Queensland. Surely it'll lift the boys. I don't know, man, I'm pretty excited. This could go one of two ways. We could barely scrape by, or we are getting blown out. As simple as that. I can't really see a comfortable win for Queensland taking place. I'm just really iffy on that new centre and wing combination, Brinko and Edric Lee. But yeah, man, that's my thoughts on the decider coming up in just a few hours. Like I always say, I'm no expert or anything, it's just a spectator's point of view. I think I've carried on long enough. Don't forget to let me know in the comment section who you think will win with a hashtag NSW or a hashtag QLD as always. If you enjoyed that and would like to see more rugby league related content or more content in general, be sure to run it straight at that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later.
Team, that's my team. Loyalty over everything, that's my team, that's my team. From the bottom where we grinding, that's my team, that's my team. To the top where we shining.